analysis for the most recently conducted open mock by BYJU'S exam prep. Friends, this mock was conducted over the last 10 days, I believe, and we are now going to look at what happened in this particular mock and how should a student have attempted it to maximize the score. Okay, we will also look at the normal difficulty level of the paper of each section and what was the difficulty level of the paper as a overall combined. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the three sections, the difficulty level of the sections, which questions should have been left. Now, please keep in mind, I am not going to solve too many questions. The purpose of today's session is not to solve. Yes, I will take up one or two questions to solve, but this is an analysis session. So the entire focus will be on what should and should not have been done in the mock. Right? So I will not be getting into solving of questions because we have given a complete solution of this particular mock to you guys. So all those of you who have written this mock, you will have access to two things. One, there is a video that I have taken of attempt. In fact, I think Gautam has taken the attempt, if I'm not mistaken. I actually don't remember who's taken the attempt. And there is another video, rather they are a set of videos where we talk about the solution for each and every question, right? So that is what is in store for this particular mock for you if you have already written it. So let's go ahead and dive into the analysis part. So I have my phone over here. I'll be checking my phone for the chat because your chat is going to appear over here. Good morning, Mohan, Sonali, hello. And I have a lot of my friends who have joined over here. Very wonderful. And by the way, guys, a happy Dashera to all of you. It's good to know that you're all here, anxious and anxious and interested, I hope, at the same time to understand what happened in the mock. So let's go ahead and without further ado, dive into what basically happened in the previous mock, open mock. Okay. Now, so let's start with one rider or one caution to you, friends. Normally, many of you write mocks and you are worried that your mock percentile is low. Okay, this is one thing which I want to talk about. Nru Singh, very good morning to you too. Yes, so one thing which I want to comment and keep you something which will keep your confidence high is, please keep in mind what you are going to end up getting in the actual CAT exam versus your mock. This table is the comparison of that. So what I mean to say here is, in mock, if you are getting 50 percentile today, same preparation, without any more preparation, same mindset, you go and write the actual CAT. In the CAT exam, you will end up getting 70 percentile. So you might be worried that you are at 50, but in reality, 50 is not 50. 50 in a mock is equivalent to almost 70 in actual CAT. Similarly, if you are at 80 percentile today, in next 2 days, without additional preparation, without change in strategy, same mindset, you go and write the CAT exam, same performance, you will end up getting anywhere between 92 to 93. If you are at a 99 today, it means you have a very, very nice opportunity or a chance of getting a 99.5 plus. Now, these numbers are not randomly put. We have analyzed students' performance and the performance in mocks and their actual performance in the exam. We have done this for the last 7-8 years. We have a huge database of students. We have done this for the last 7-8 years, and we have made this table based on our observations of how student percentiles change from mock to the actual exam. So friends, when you get a mock 90, please take take notice that 90 is not 90 in mock. In CAT, this will become 95 plus, assuming that the same performance is carried forward, right? So this is the basic idea. Let's move ahead. So don't worry if your percentile is slightly lower than what you want in CAT. I'm pretty sure that when you look at in terms of CAT percentile, it's going to be higher. And this year, almost 3.7 lakh people have applied for CAT, the highest ever by a lakh. The highest I remember was about 3 lakhs or 2.9 lakhs or something like that, or 3.1 lakh. This time it's the highest ever applicants. So your percentile will be pushed even higher because a lot of students will be filling the form just like it, right? So your 50 this year could actually go to probably 73 or 74 also, right? So don't worry about it. Just make sure that in your mocks you are in that 90 above. You will have a awesome paper of CAT, trust me. Okay, let's move on and look at what else we have in store. So now I'm going to look at the overall paper comparison. In the meantime, let me check if I have any comments coming in. Happy Dashara from Mysore Mohan. Yes, happy Dashara from me to everyone. But anyway, let's continue. So if you are looking at the overall difficulty level of the paper, you look at the CAT mock 18. This is the open mock. Now, obviously the maximum marks were same. If you look at CAT 2021, 2022, 198 and 198, obviously this pattern was the same. However, if you look at a 90 percentile, you had to get 52 marks in this mock to be a 90 percentile, whereas in the 2022 actual CAT exam, a student had to get 48.5 marks. Similarly, if you want 80 percentile in this mock, 42 marks gives you 80 percentile, whereas 35.5 marks in the actual CAT exam gave you 80 percentile. Now you might think that this tells you, these 3 points basically tell you that the paper was easier. However, hold that thought. Let us take a look at what happened to the other percentile. So you can see all these three, in fact even 99, till 99, what you observe is the paper was easy, because in the mock to get the same percentile you had to get higher score. Higher score means paper was easier, right? But the moment you cross 99.5 or you are crossing 99, you can see 89 marks was giving you 99.5, whereas in the actual CAT exam 93 was giving you a 99.5. 105 marks was at 99.9 percentile in this mock, whereas 110 marks was it was a 99.9 percentiler in the previous CAT. Here the pattern changed. What does this tell you? I want you to understand. It's a data analytics question. Guys, can somebody explain to me what does this mean? Anyone? What does this mean? You have half the paper, or for the lower part of this, lower scores, mock was easier. Higher scores, if you look at it, it shows that mock was difficult. How is it possible? How can a paper be both difficult and easier at the same time compared to previous year's CAT paper? Any ideas? Anyone? Let's see. Tanish, Ramya, Srinath, Arnav, Shubham, Shyam, Vijay, Vinay, Sonali. Aditya says considerably harder to climb the higher percentile. Aditya, that is obvious from this. What do you infer from this data? Okay, I'll not waste too much of time. Let me put this in front of you. What this means is the easy plus moderate. These level of questions, where this is, if you're looking at mock, and I'm looking at mock versus, let me just change this, mock versus CAT 22. So if you're looking at easy, slightly more than easy and moderate level questions, the mock was easier and this was relatively higher in standard. So easy questions, easy plus level of questions and moderate level questions were easier compared to CAT. That is the reason why all the lower percentile level people were able to solve it much more easily compared to the actual CAT paper. But when you go to moderate plus and difficult level papers, or moderate plus and difficult level questions, here this was difficult and this was easier. So basically what this means is the easy plus, moderate, these type of questions were overall doable and much more easily doable than CAT 2022. But the moment you are talking about moderate and higher, moderate plus and difficult, there the questions became extremely difficult. compared to the previous CAT paper. That is why the toppers who anyway will finish these, the toppers who are at 99 percentile, then they will come to these. They were not able to solve too many of the moderate plus and difficult level questions because they were extremely difficult. Hence, compared to CAT 2022, they anyway got this marks, but they could not get the marks from here. That is the reason why here the scores went down relatively and here the scores went up relatively. Is this understood? So this is one part of you to understand in this particular paper. That is one way, right? Let's move on. Okay, so now let's go on looking at this section wise. We are starting with the English. Now, once again, English mock 18, this is what we are talking about. And I'm comparing this with last year 3 slots, slot 1, slot 2, slot 3. This year also there are going to be 3 slots. Anyway, so we are talking about this mock versus the last 3 year slots. So we have given sociology and anthropology 1 topic, biology 2 topics this time, and contemporary culture 1 topic. Compare that with what happened last year. Last year, sociology and anthropology came twice in 1 paper. Then science and history, science and technology. So in 1 paper, everything came once. Then in 1 paper, philosophy came twice. Science and technology came once, culture and lifestyle came once. So basically, what you can expect based on what we have seen last year is, there could be 1 topic which can repeat. It is possible. Not guaranteed. For example, slot 3, everything was different. All 4 RCs were different topics. Whereas slot 1 and slot 2, there is a repetition here. There is a repetition here. Now, what can you do about it? Nothing. If you don't like philosophy, there are 2 RCs coming into philosophy. Well, depending upon how confident you are about philosophy, you should decide, should you be doing both passages? Or should you be doing 1 passage, and instead of doing the 2nd passage on philosophy, should you spend more time on your verbal ability? But friends, this is where understanding yourself comes into play. You should have absolutely clear idea, perfect idea with respect to how good is your para jumbles, how good is your analysis of para summary, how good are you in your fill in the blanks or basically para completion. Compare these with, let's say, your philosophy RC. If your philosophy RC is left out, let's say 3 RCs are there. Let's say you got last year's something similar to last year's first slot. So you are good here. So you'll do this first. Science and technology, you love it, you do it, great. Culture and lifestyle, you love it, you've done it. 2 RCs over. Now the question is, you have 2 more RCs, 8 questions, and 8 more questions of verbal ability. Where should you spend time? Now, if you are so fast that you can finish all 24 questions, then there's no problem at all. The problem comes to many of those who have to make a choice. Is it going to be 1 here and VARC this, or probably only para summary and both of these? That is a combination that you have to decide, or whatever else combination you're looking at. So to decide that, at that moment in the exam, you should take a call based on how good you are in relative performance. So you should be very, very clear on how good you are in each genre of your RC. Science, culture and lifestyle came twice. You love it. Great. There's no doubt that you should be solving both of them. But then the question is, okay, you're left with 1 philosophy. Let's take this 4th example. Let's take the 3rd slot. So you love science and technology, you've done it. You love history, you've done it. And let's say you love ecology, biology, it's kind of science, you've done it. Now you are left with sociology, anthropology, 1 RC, 4 questions versus 8 questions here. Now, should you spend time in doing this, or should you pick probably 5 of them or 6 of them here? What basis will you decide? The decision is based on your historical analysis of that particular RC. That is why I keep repeating, there are 4 or 5 genres only. Make sure that you know relatively how good are you in each of these vis-a-vis your para jumbles, para completion and para summary. Okay, this is something that I cannot say do this because it is all person dependent, right? Anyway, so this is what we have given. 2 biology topics, 2 science, basically biology and ecology. Then we have given you 1 sociology and anthropology and 1 contemporary topic. Then of course 3 para summary, 2 para completion and 3 para jumbles. You can notice that para jumbles has always been 3. and they usually, and I haven't seen 2 parajumbles come. It's always been 3 parajumbles since they got into this format. So there's no doubt that there'll be 3 parajumbles even this year, right? Let me see if there are any comments. Mohan says, okay, Mohan is asking a good question. Let's say the passage comes from your favorite concept, but questions are difficult. Then, Mohan, once again, what you need to understand is, if you're talking about a passage that came from your favorite topic, let's say your favorite topic is science and technology, the questions are difficult. This you are comparing with parajumbles. So I'll take my example. This is perfect example for me. I am weak in parajumbles. Okay. I know if I solve on my best day, if luck is on my side, I'll get 2 parajumbles correct. On an average day, I'll get 1 correct, 2 wrongs. That is how I am in parajumbles. Whereas science and technology, I am very fast in reading. I understand also very fast because I've been reading it for years. And let's say 4 questions are difficult. Now, I know inherently that even if 4 questions are difficult, because the topic is something that I love, I will end up getting minimum, worst case scenario, 2 corrects out of 4. Best case scenario, 4 out of 4. Average case scenario, probably 3 out of 4. So, if you were to ask me whether I will spend time on parajumbles or on this, I would always go for my topic which I love, because reading will not take me time. Out of 4 questions, even if I spend 8 minutes there, I'll get 2 corrects, 2 wrongs. In fact, if I'm smart, I might not even answer all 4 because the questions are difficult. If I know that there are 2 questions which are doable, 1 question I might leave because I didn't understand the question at all. So I'll spend only 6 minutes there, saving 2 minutes. So in 6 minutes, I got 2 questions correct, 1 question wrong, 5 marks, done. If I go to parajumbles, I know for sure that every parajumbles I'll spend 2 minutes anyway. So 3 parajumbles, 6 minutes I'm spending, same time, but I'll get 1 correct, 2 wrongs. But yes, there is no negative marking, but I'll get only 3 marks for that 6 minutes. This calculation, you should not be wasting your time there. This analysis should be already there in your brain. The output, what to do, the result of what to do should be done in the exam. So that is what is meant by individual analysis. Obviously, if you notice the detail to which you have to go, I cannot do this for each one of you individually. I can only show you the path. The analysis and the numbers you have to collect for yourself. And the toppers, the people who go from the 99 to 99.5, 99.7, 99. That extra 2 marks, extra 5 marks, how do you think they get it? This is the way they get it. Okay, so there's not much of a difference between people who are at 99 and 99.9, just the smartness with which they approach the paper. Knowledge wise, I'm pretty sure you're all the same. Okay, anyway, so let's move on. Okay, Aditya asks a question. So when I try to read RC quick, I go wrong a lot. If I go slow while reading, my accuracy is high. 90 plus. Should I focus on finishing set in RC, or what did I do? What should I do? Aditya, I will always recommend accuracy over speed. If you say, sir, I will take 6 minutes, but I'll get 2 questions correct, 2 questions wrong, versus 10 minutes and I'll get probably 4 questions correct, or 8 minutes and I'll get 3 questions correct, 1 question wrong, I will always say, take the 2-3 extra minutes, get that extra marks. It is difficult to get marks if you are going to be in a hurry. So always my belief is, if you know that if you are going slow, you will make less mistakes, go slow. Because a mistake is not just losing 3 marks, losing that extra negative. So it's a 4 mark gap. Please don't think as 3 marks. It is a 4 mark difference. Instead of getting +3, you're getting a -1. Okay? I hope that clears. Aditya, yes. Let's move on, guys. Okay. So let's look at what happened in English. Now, English, this section, you can clearly see overall, very clearly, this is an easy paper. You have 23, 17, 29, 23, 35, 29 across the board. Across the board, the English paper was easier, right? And it is not just one question easier. You can see the difference. 17 to 23, that's 6 marks. 6 marks is 2 questions. It's not a small thing. 2 marks or 2 questions difference. 6 marks is a huge thing with respect to the difficulty level of the paper. So last year, if you call it as moderate, this year it will be easy plus. relatively. It's one level lower. So what are my levels? My levels are easy, easy plus, moderate, moderate plus, and difficult, difficult plus. You put it, you don't put it, it's one and the same. So these are my levels. So it is basically going from moderate to easy plus. That is basically your English. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at what is happening. Okay, so these are the passages. I'm not getting too much into passages, but I will get, if I were to attempt this paper, how will I attempt it? So I'll start with this. Let me see, I'll read the first 2 sentences or 3 sentences. In many respects, contemporary analysis of catastrophe and utopian hope continues to return to the legacy of Thomas More, whose book Utopia finds. Now, this is about an author and a book, not science and technology. It is going to be about what the author wanted or what the author wrote. Now, you have to decide in that first 15 seconds, is this something for me or not? If you're still not sure, go ahead and take a look at the questions. Look at the questions. The author of the passage is least likely to support the view. Now remember, this is based on inference. He is not saying which of these views the author did not support. It means that is a fact. Did not support means he already spoke about it and is saying these 3 I am supporting, this he did not mention at all. This is an inference. Basically it means he said something. Based on what he said, the question is forming 4 options. It is not direct. So one question, it is inference. Next, let's move on to the other question. According to the passage, socialism and Christian utopias. This is direct. This is direct. Okay, next question. The writer argues that utopian societies are not possible because, again, direct. Right? So you have 2 direct and one inference. Next, following from the passage, which one of the following may be best seen as a characteristic of utopian society? Again, following from the passage, which of the following may be the best seen as? So this is kind of inference, I guess. It's not really direct. So you have 2 direct questions and 2 inference questions. I would say, if I were in your position, I will pick these 2 direct questions. According to the passage, socialism and Christian utopias. I will not see anything else. I'll straight away let me go to the passage and start looking at where is the passage talking about Christian and what is the other? Utopia? Socialism and Christian utopia. So let me see where is that mentioned. Okay, there's no Christianity here. In the realm of fiction, California, okay, still the key issue, contemporary thinking about utopia is failures of socialism and survival of capitalism in its various forms. So you are starting about it here, socialist weapon, etc, etc. Okay, you're talking about Pope, so you're getting into Christianity. So my basic answer, ideally, should be in these 2 paragraphs. So if you notice, it took me 10-15 seconds to identify where that passage is. Now I will spend probably 1 minute or 2 minutes in reading this very slowly, trying to understand, get the answer, move out. So what did I do here? Instead of spending entire 8 minutes, I have spent initial few seconds in deciding should I take this passage or not. I was not sure. I went ahead, saw the questions. I saw 2 questions are inference, 2 questions are direct. Now what did my mind tell me? Saying that look, direct questions you can attempt. Inference questions you cannot do unless you understand the entire passage. And passage I don't want to get into. Why? Because this is not my forte. This is not the passage that I love. It is not science and technology. It is not about history. It is not something which I would easily understand. Therefore, I decided to only pick the direct based questions, and then what do? I'll search for what the direct questions are talking about. I will get this entire first question, that is in the sequence, the actual second question, done within 3 to 3.5 minutes of starting the passage, and another 1 minute or 2 minutes to solve the next question. By 5 to 6 minutes, my passage 1 is done. I have solved 2 questions. May be correct, may not be correct. Let's not worry about is it going to be accurate or not. But look at what you have done. 6 minutes, 2 questions over, passage 1 done. So you have now 34 minutes, 3 more passages, out of which 1 or 2 passages will be to your liking. Look at how you are changing the game by saving time here. So that is what you need to learn, how to approach. So these are like, there is no real hard and fast rule which says, if this, do this. It is a judgment call. A judgment call is something that your experience and your previous attempts or previous experiments will tell you what might be happening if you do this. It's quickly at that point you have to take a judgment call. Okay, so let me see if I have any questions. Okay, no further questions. I hope guys this is clear. Should you do this or should you not do this? It's not a clear answer. It also depends on the questions at hand. Make a note of this. Put this into practice. Did you guys understand? Is this clear? Can I have a quick round of responses from all of you? Guys, are you there? Or have you vanished? Okay, anyway. So we have 4 questions here done. Let's do the same thing for the second RC. Second RC, it is indisputable that climate change is being fueled by greenhouse gases. Now this is science and technology. Basically, what type of science? I'm talking about climate science. It is logic, hence I like it. It is not what the author thinks about his mind or his heart, what does it tell. It's not about utopian societies, it is not about this society or that society, how the human civilization was or rather how the language has changed in his particular author's book. It is nothing to do with that. It's a simple logical science and technology question or a passage. I would take a choice that, look, I already saved time. This I will read, understand and go to my questions. So I will spend time here understanding and not spend too much of time. I'll quickly go through. Okay, first paragraph is talking about it is indisputable that climate change. Is fueled by greenhouse gases. Okay, fine. Tipping points where reside, breaking points where slowly build, changes, etc. Okay, fine. Fine. First paragraph, I made a note of what it is. It is introduction, and you are basically saying that climate change is because of greenhouse gases. Next, one of those tipping points. So now you're talking about what are these points related to Atlantic meridional overturing circulation, or the AMOC, a giant oceanic conveyor belt that redistributes heat around the planet. So you're talking about the explanation of one of the points, and then you will make a note of this going forward. Then you will finish the entire passage in probably about 5 minutes. 5 minutes time, 4 to 5 minutes time. Ideally, if you're fast, even 3 minutes you'll be able to finish. If you're really good in English, you have practiced a lot, 3 minutes is good enough to finish this. Some people finish it in 2.5 minutes also. But yeah, 3 to 4 minutes is a good enough time. So your passage is done. Now you'll go to the questions. The purpose of this passage is to, now here, because you read the entire passage, you can answer this question without going back to see, okay, what is the purpose? Because purpose is not at a single point. The purpose is based on the entire tone. What did the author convey? It is not a single point that the author is trying to make at one point in the passage, right? So this you don't have to search. You will go for the options, eliminate the options, get your answer. Probably time spent will be 1 minute here. So 5 minutes over or 4 minutes over, 1 more minute, 5 minutes done. Moving on to the next. All of the following statements are true except. Now this you'll have to spend a little bit of time, because these statements you have to check, go back and check. Probably you'll spend about 1.5 minutes. So 6.5 minutes, 2 questions done. Next, you have, based on the passage, the author would support which of the following actions. I would probably leave this immediately, because this is not a direct question, this is not a checking question, it is based on inference. I already spent 6.5 minutes. Maybe I'll come back to this at a later point. 6.5 minutes, few seconds done. Let me move on to the next question. Which of the following statements can be inferred from the passage? Once again, inference. Now, quick call. I spent 6.5 minutes. Can I spend 3 more minutes to get 2 questions? Probably yes, depending upon how I feel at that point in time. Yes, I might spend 1.5 minutes on both these questions, finish it off and go. 10 minutes, I got 4 questions here. Yes, I spent a little bit longer, but because the topic is something that I love, the chance of me getting 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 4 is higher here. So I would then therefore invest this amount of time, like 9 to 10 minutes, because I know the topic is good. I might end up getting more questions. However, if you do the first 2 questions and leave 7 and 8, that is still valid. 6.5 minutes, you got 2 more questions. So remember, by 12.5 to 13 minutes, 12.5 to 13, you are done with 2 RCs, 4 questions are gone. And you also know you can get 2 more questions. If you did not do 7 and 8, you can come back later and do 7 and 8. because you know basically what is happening in the passage. It's just a question of should you spend the 3 minutes right now, or is the verbal ability easier and you would want to spend more time there. So this is still there for you depending upon how the paper goes. So that's a call you have to take at that point. Okay. Anyway, moving on. And similarly, you will do the second, this passage also, and so on and so forth. So the whole idea here, which I'm trying to explain to you, is don't have the hard mindset that, okay, I read the passage, so I should solve all 4. That is a very, very bad way of looking at the paper. Nobody is going to give you extra marks because you got all 4 correct or you attempted all 4. What you need to do is keep hopping, keep hopping. Don't get stuck at a point. This is the same for DI. It is the same for RC also. Many of you are able to do this in quant, because in quant they are individual questions. So you say you spend 2 minutes, you do not get an answer, you leave. You are unfortunately not able to replicate the same mindset in a DILR or in a verbal ability. Please don't think they are different. RC, DI and quant, in terms of strategy, leaving, it is the same. Simply because you started a set does not mean that you should solve all 5 questions in DI. Okay, so please keep that in mind. It is perfectly fine for you to solve 2 and leave the other 2. Okay, and that's basically what I wanted to explain to you. And of course, then you finish off these 4 RCs, or ideally, again, there's another question. Many of you say, should you attempt the 4 RCs back to back or not? I would always recommend not to go back to back. Okay, ideally I would say 2 RC, then verbal ability 3 questions, then 1 RC, then verbal ability probably 2 or 3 questions, and if time permits, the other RC will come. By here, usually the time will get over. You will be running short of time or running out of time. So 2 RCs, you can also take 1 RC, verbal, RC, verbal, RC, verbal. It's all up to you. But don't do more than 2 RCs at a stretch unless you love reading. Yes, people like me would love to do RCs at a stretch because we love reading. I have been reading since my childhood and I am fascinated by words. There are so many mocks because this is not an actual CAT exam for me. Even in the actual CAT, there's so many beautiful passages that I spend time getting curious about the topics and really beautifully written language. So I start appreciating the language and I waste time. But I love to do that. I have the luxury of doing that. The bottom line which I'm trying to make is, unless you are a person who likes to read like that, like the example that I'm talking about, please don't do RCs back to back. Okay? Anyway, so I'm not getting into the solutions. As I said, that's already been discussed. The solutions are already there with you. Can I have a quick round of responses from all of you? Alright, so let's move on to the DILR part. This CAT mock 18 compared to the last 3, we have given 1 games and tournaments. As you can see, games and tournaments has come last year in one of the slots. Algebra caselet has come twice, we have given that. Venn diagrams has come once, we have given that. Scheduling and matrix did not come last time, we have given scheduling and matrix. This time games and tournaments, actually it came twice. Games and tournament has come twice. So we have closely tried to replicate what happened last year, keeping in mind a mix of things. But one thing is scatter plot, bar graph, and I think, okay, so you can see 2 of the 3 papers had pure DI. 2 of the 3 papers had pure DI. I think pure DI was missing in this particular mock. But obviously we keep experimenting. It's not that every time you have to give a pure DI, because you can see slot 1 did not have any DI in it, right? It had routes and numerical arrangement in grid and things like that. So yes, while the chance of getting a pure DI is quite high, it is possible that it may not come. So be prepared for that. Anyway, so if you look at the scores, you can start looking at the scores over here, 26 and 29. Whereas 17 and 19, 14 and 15, and 11 and 10.5. So basically they were about 1 or 2 sets which were easy. The other 2 were extremely difficult. Again, that's what this basically tells you, that 1 or 1.5 set were very easy. Most of those students have done. That's why you got 11 for the same percentile compared to the last year of CAT. Whereas The two other sets were so difficult that many of the students could not attempt or could not solve it. And that is the reason why even the toppers started getting less number of marks. So if last year you would say overall paper is moderate, this year I will say the paper is moderate plus. It is about 1 to 1.5 question. That's about 3 to 4, 5 marks difference between 3 to 4 marks difference from last year. Okay. So you had this question over here. So let's look at how would I attempt my DILR paper. So if I start this, so I have number of people who voted for neither of the three and all three was 5. So basically you're talking about a Venn diagram question where you're going to draw a Venn diagram of 3 things. Okay. Now now I love Venn diagrams. First of all, I'll have to comment based on how I would attempt, right? So I love Venn diagrams, so I would start this paper, start this question. Now the number of people who voted for neither of the three and all three was 5 and 14. Very nice. I got 2 data points, 5 here and 14 here. Then the total number of people who voted was the minimum possible. Now the first time I got a hint that it is not a direct question. This is a minima maximum concept involved. It's a question which involves minima maxima concept. It is not a typical DI or LR question of Venn diagrams where they say A and B only 2 is this much, B and C only is this much, so I have to put everything everywhere and I'll get my answer very nicely. It is not such a question. Now I have to be careful. If I still love Venn diagrams, I'll go ahead, spend some more time on it. If I don't, and if I am really not very confident about maximum minima kind of questions, I will stop here itself and move out. I think I've taken the attempt of this. If I remember it correctly, I started this. I made a mess of it in about first 7 or 8 minutes, and then I stopped this and went on to the next set. So I thought, despite knowing that it is minima maxima, which I know I have my apprehensions about minima maxima, I still decided let me go ahead and give it a try. And that try should have stopped at 5 minutes. Unfortunately, it went on till 8 minutes. And then everything went for a toss. So 8 minutes or 9 minutes I stopped and then moved on to the next set. But yeah, that's a call that you have to take in the exam. Again, another thing that should be throwing you off guard is the numbers are multiples. It's a very complex statement that they've given. The people voted in such a way that the number of people who voted for all the different possibilities or possible combinations of players when divided by 8 gave all possible whole number remainders, which means you got remainders from 0 to 7 with distinct whole numbers. So you're looking at too many possibilities. There should be a distinct quotient. So whatever numbers you're getting here, you have to make sure that the remainders are different when you divide by 8 and the quotient is different when you divide by 8. For example, 5, the quotient is 0, remainder is 5. For 14, the quotient is 1, 8 ones are 8 and the remainder is 6. So you have to keep track of what remainder is used, what quotient is used, and ensuring that overall total is as low as possible. It's a nightmare to solve this. Ideally, not to be done in the mock. That's my recommendation. Anyway, as I said, I'm not getting into the details of solving this, but this analysis should have been done in the 3-4 minutes. Spending 5 minutes is not a waste of time. You can spend 5 minutes, come to the conclusion that look, this set is very difficult. Move on. Don't waste your time anything more than that. That's a mistake that I did in my attempt. I spent about 8 or 9 minutes, if I remember correctly. That extra 4 minutes, I keep telling people, at the first 5 minutes point, ask yourself, I missed that. So I did not ask myself, should I continue or not? Because of which I wasted another 4 minutes. That is criminal waste. The first 5 is acceptable. The next 4, not acceptable at all. Okay. So let's move on. So these are questions. That's okay. Questions are not our concern for the time being. Next, we have a small looking, neat small looking question over here. In Shiv Sundari Girls Inter College, Moradabad, there are 4 sections A, B, C, D of the 10th standard. The 6 subjects in the curriculum are English, Hindi, Sanskrit, Mathematics, whatever. You have 6 subjects. There are 6 teachers. So 6 subjects and 6 teachers. School starts at 9:30. And it's divided into 6 classes. Then you have a 10-minute break. That's fine. Radhika is employed to create a timetable for each section and that of each teacher. So basically this is a scheduling problem. So what are the parameters? You have 6 teachers, 1 parameter. There are 6 subjects, another parameter, 6 classes. So 3-parameter arrangement of things. Now, based on your analysis till that point, are you good in this? Are you weak in this? Take a quick call. Then move ahead. Before you, okay, you have 11 points. I keep talking to people when I take my mentorship sessions with my students. I keep telling them, look, a selection of a DI question is not just a function of is the topic good or bad. It is a function of how many data points are given to you, right? What topic, of course, is it good for you or bad for you? More importantly, what type of questions are there? Look at the type of questions. All of them are MCQ, good for you. If it is theta, probably bad for you. But here you have 5 MCQs, but look at the nature of the questions. If the first period is Hindi, which means, what does this tell you? If this tells you that it is a scenario which is not constant. There are multiple cases. You have to get all the cases, only then your answer will be determined. Look at this, right after the lunch break, who among the following definitely does not take? Again, a hint which says that, look boss, you have multiple cases. If you don't get all the cases, your answers will go for a toss. Now, what are the most important points for you to look at? Firstly, it is a 6 items, 3-parameter scheduling problem. Second, it has multiple cases. Third, there are 11 points for you. Fourth, you have only MCQs. So only MCQs in your favor. MCQs, yes, in your favor. Multiple cases, not in your favor. 3-parameter and 6 verticals. Again, not in your favor, because the more parameters and the more items, the more mistakes you can make. Then you have, 11 points. This is fine. 11 is not a big number. If you look at the points, these are not very, very big. So you can basically, if you look at it, English is taught by, so basically you can just take out these 6 points are not contributing anything. Basically they're saying, okay, English is taught by A or B, Hindi is taught by B or C, science is taught by C or D. So this is not going to add too much. But yeah, you have basically, which means 5 points which will add value, and these are the 5 points you have to worry about. So probably this is in your favor. Now quick decision in the next. So all this you have done in, let's say, 2 to 3 minutes or 2 minutes. You have spent 2 minutes, you have come to this point. Now the decision is, should you do it or not? 15 seconds, decide. This is in your favor, this is in your favor, this is not in your favor. What should you do? Take a decision, and the next 5 minutes or 4 minutes, keep solving. So you already spent 2 minutes, another 4 minutes, a total 6 minutes. Then ask yourself, should I continue or am I lost? By this 4 minutes, if you didn't even realize that where are the cases coming from, what is the logic with which you are getting multiple cases, then boss, 6 minutes, you spend time, leave it, move. But if you understood that, okay, I got the cases because of these 2 points. Let us say randomly, I'm just picking 2 points. This point and this point are giving you multiple cases. So you understood that these 2 points are giving me cases. You got what cases they are, which means you are making good progress. You can spend another 4 minutes, total about 10 minutes for you for this set. That should be the approach for DILR sets like this. You should not sit with a set for 15 minutes saying, okay, let me spend 15 minutes on this and see what happens. There's nothing left for you to see after 15 minutes. Your decision should be taken every 4 to 5 minutes. Take a decision. Should I spend the next 5 minutes or not? Should I spend the next 4 minutes or not? You should be awake every moment of your mock. Being awake is not solving. Being awake is being aware that you're spending time. And your brain should be smart enough to keep questioning you every 3 to 4 minutes or 4 to 5 minutes. Okay? If you don't do that, you will spend enormous amount of time, probably another 10-12 minutes on this and say, oh, I'm not getting the answer. Fortunately for you, the next 2 sets are actually doable in this. However, now look at it. In the actual mock, you started with the first set. Did not get. Second set, you spent 6 minutes. Did not get. You spent 11 to 12 minutes. No solution for you. Now, what is your state of mind? 28 minutes or 26 minutes left for you. Nothing on your paper to show in terms of answers. next two sets you don't know how they are going to be, you are really panicking. Even if they are easy, because of your panic, you will make them as a moderate level set. The panic is that's what the panic does to your brain. So please keep in mind that when you decide to leave, it is your control. You have control over what has happened, and that control will give you confidence, saying that, look, I did not waste time and suddenly realize, oh, I wasted time. I knew what I was doing. I spent first 4 or 5 minutes, left it. I spent another 4 or 5 minutes, total 9 to 10 minutes. Yes, I wasted. It is in my control. I left it without realizing that. Without realizing after 20 minutes, saying that, oh, 20 minutes are over, I don't have an answer. So when you do it with your control, your confidence will be higher. Even if you're wasting the same amount of time, you will have more confidence. But let's move on to the next. So we have again a small set. It's a pure logic set. You can see there are not many numbers in this. Yes, there are small numbers, but first the data is very less. It's only 2 paragraphs. So let's take a look at it. On the island of absurdity, there reside only 3 types of humans: liars, veracious, and confused. Whenever any two types of them shake hands with each other, both of them become the third type of human being. So this is a pure logic set. Okay. And when 2 humans of the same type shake hands, there is no change in the type. So this is logic using numbers. Now, are you good at it? Numbers and logic. Take a call. Now, before you start solving the set, take a look at the questions. Which of the following groups can result in a group of only one type of human after a certain number of handshakes? So first, look at the points which are in your favor. Length, short, in your favor. Topic, I don't know, depends on your personal choice. Data, in your favor, hardly any data. It's just a logic given to you and then everything else. Then question type. Let's look at the question types. You have MCQ, 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 3 MCQs, 1 theta, another MCQ. So 4 MCQs, 1 theta. Again, in your favor. 4 MCQs, 1 theta in your favor. Now look at the type of questions. What will they say? Which of the following groups can result in a group of only one type of human after a certain number of handshakes? Now, this is independent question. What does it mean? It means, look, this question has got nothing to do with solving an entire set. There is nothing called a set anymore. So this is a topic, this is a logical question where it is not that you have to crack the set to get all 5 questions. These are independent questions. It's like a selection problem. You know, A cannot be with B, B cannot be with C. There's nothing there to solve there. You just have to make a note of points and then say, if A is going with K, who cannot be in the team? So that question is independent. That you will use the data given to you, the information given to you to solve that. That is the type of question it is. So these are independent type of questions. So you can solve 2 and leave the others. You can solve 3 and leave the others. If it is easy, you can solve all 5 depending upon the difficulty level of each question. It's like a quant question then, right? They are not connected. So it's not that only if you solve the set, you'll get all 4. It's not like that. So it is in your favor. So these many things are going in your favor. Probably makes sense for you to spend time because you already spent 10-12 minutes, 2 sets, no answer. You have 28 minutes. You can spend another 10 minutes, 12 minutes on this very nicely. So you'll go ahead and spend some time and you will realize that it can be done. You'll spend some time in trying to understand what is the logic for you to confirm that 2 things can be converted into the third type and nothing else is left. So basically you want something in this format, A, B, C, to ultimately shake hands and get into this format, 0, 0, C or 0, 0, A plus B plus C, because people count will be the same. So everybody will come into the third format or whatever. It could be 0, A plus B plus C and 0, or it could be A plus B plus C and 0 and 0, whatever. Basically 2 zeros and the third one should have everybody. That's the logic. So what is the logic? Crack the logic. If you get that logic, all 5 questions are done. So this is one of the doable questions in my opinion, and you should have attempted this given how the paper was going. But let's not again get into the solution part. As I said, that's not the purpose. 5 questions done. Then you have the last set, which is games and tournaments. Let's say you spent 12 minutes, you got the previous set, your confidence will be slightly higher. Already 12 minutes wasted, 12 minutes solved. So you're done with 24 minutes. 16 minutes are left. You know for sure you will not go back to the first set. You know for sure you will not go back to the second set. So first set and second set are gone. So entire 16 minutes are on this. There's nothing there for you to think. There's nothing there for you to analyze also. Just start. Whatever it is, you have to do this. Because you know first set is going, second set is gone. So third set you did, very good. Fourth set, good, bad, ugly. This is what you got now. Stick with it. 16 minutes, game over. So let's go ahead and see, take a look. Games and tournaments, again, okay, while I said sit with this, it's a function. If you hate games and tournaments and like Venn diagrams, please leave this, go to Venn diagrams, set number 1. For me, it was definitely this because I like games and tournaments more than Venn diagrams. I like this more than the second set. So I will stick with this. So what I'm basically saying is whichever set you are going to have the last 15 minutes, stick with that and finish off. Because you know by now you know the paper is difficult. So you already got solid 5 questions, another 5 questions, 10 questions, 30 marks. You would have been a 99 percentiler without fail. Look at the scores. If you remember this, what is the score for a 99 percentile? Let's quickly take a look at it. Yeah, so 26 marks. You do 10 questions, 30 marks. Let's say you make one mistake, so 26 marks. Perfect, you'll be at a 99 percentile. But anyway, let's go back to that particular set. Yeah, so you're here and now take a look at, again, your decision is based on, make 1.5 minutes to take the decision, because the decision basically is it set number 1, set number 2 or set number 4? So if this topic is not useful to you or the type of questions, again, if you're not comfortable with this topic, I'll not say sit with this. Okay, please don't say Srinivas asked me to sit with whatever is the last set. No, that's not what I meant. What I meant is that last 16 minutes, you pick one of the 3 and please sit with it. In my case, for me, set 1 was gone, set 2 was gone. So I sat with this entire 16 minutes. I got probably 4 or 5 questions correct. So that's basically how your DILR should have been attempted. Okay. So, okay, I've got a few questions. Shubham was commenting, there's no question there. So Nali says, what if all 4 sets I didn't get it and able to solve? Then what should I do in that time? So Nali, basically what you're saying is, in 4 sets, you did not get any question. Well, you're basically asking, what can I do if you don't know anything? I mean, what answer can I give you there? See, if you can't answer, if you don't know any of the 4 topics, then you pick with the topic which you felt at least some connection, some familiarity. Firstly, if there are 4 topics you don't know any, it means your preparation has been very poor. You take last 10 years, I can assure you that scenario will not come. The only reason that scenario will come is because you have not prepared enough. So the scenario of what should I do when no question is known by me, it only means you have not prepared enough. Then there's nothing I can tell you to do. But yes, if there are 4 topics that you know, but you cannot crack it. 5 minutes you spent, first topic did not crack. Second topic did not crack. Third topic did not crack. Fourth topic did not crack. You spent 20 minutes, no topic has been cracked. It means the paper is extremely difficult for you for whatever reason. You have 20 minutes left. What should you do? Out of these 4, pick the one which you felt is easier. Sit with it. That case, spend the remaining 20 minutes on that one set, get 15 marks. It is still better than getting 0. So there, you'll take one set and sit for 20 minutes. Last 20 minutes, that one set. Which set is it? That you have to make a judgment call, because you checked 5 minutes on all 4. Nothing worked. Something is relatively easier. Please take it. Okay. Moving on to the quant part. Well, in quant, again, we have tried to match what has happened last year. Arithmetic was 9. We have given 10. Algebra, we have kept the same. Number system, same. Modern math, we have reduced 1. And geometry and mensuration, we kept the same. So this paper is exact replica of last year except for that one question. So basically, this is +1 here and this is -1 here. That's the only change. So this one went here. Except for this, the paper is exactly the same. But let's take a look at, was the difficulty the same? Okay. So if you look at the difficulty level, Look at it. It matched exactly 33 and a half, 33, 99 percentile, 24 and 22 and a half, so 23 and 24, 18 and 17, 13 and 11 and a half, so 12. So our paper of quant versus the CAT 22 structure was very similar in difficulty level. Very similar in difficulty level. So this score that you are getting today can be taken as a actual actual hint of what you might get, assuming that the preparation is going to be the same. But obviously you still have one more month, so the preparation will increase. So if you go and write in the next 2 days, what will you get? You can expect this kind of a score. However, please keep in mind you have one more month for you. That's a huge amount of time. That's almost about 30 days of 6 to 7 hours per day. Even if you take 3 hours per day, that's a lot of time. 90 hours, not a small number of hours. A lot can change. So don't lose heart if you're weak. If you are there already getting good scores, don't relax, because there are a lot of others who will take this as a wake-up call and put in their effort for the last 1 month. So if you're already at the top, make sure that you're at the top. If you are somewhere at below, wake up, put in more number of hours and try to reach the top. But let's go ahead and take a look at what happened in the quant. Okay, first question. Ideally, what will I do in this? First, I look at the topic. The topic is percentages, some kind of a mixture. I will leave. Now, 2 reasons why I'll leave. First, I like the topic. That's not the reason for leaving. But even when I like the topic, the question is 6-7 lines. So how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lines long. So I have to read this entire passage, understand, and then solve it. I will come back to this later, boss. There are 21 other questions waiting for me. Leave. Move on. Okay. Find the sum of distinct. This I will definitely do. 2 reasons why I will do. First, the topic. I love algebra. Second, the question is so short and sweet. So it is a modulus topic. Short and sweet. The only thing which is going against me is theta. But I really don't care. I love algebra and I love the topic of modulus. And the question is short and sweet to understand. Within 10 seconds, I'll understand the question, and probably a minute, I'll solve the question. I will go ahead and do this. Then move on. Again, okay, this is the same question. Now look at this. There are n taps numbered fitted in a water tank. So when I attempted this, 2 things were running in my mind once again. It's a time and work, my favorite. Second, I know the question. I have solved something similar earlier. I know when there are 8 taps fitted like this, the first tap can fill the tank in 100 hours. Also, each tap starting from second can work, that is equal to sum of the rates. So basically I know that if the first tap efficiency is 1, the second tap efficiency will become 2, then 4. So I have come across this logic. So I will not spend time thinking of the logic. 2 things in my favor, and of course MCQ, my favor. I will definitely go ahead and solve it. The question length is also not that high, just about 5 lines. And most importantly, time and work. I know the concept. I don't have to think too much about the concept. If you compare this with the previous question of 1, I know the topic, but the concept, what is the concept? I will have to read the entire passage to understand, because it is not very familiar to me. When I read it in the first 1 or 2 sentences, it is not something that I have come across exactly. Whereas 3, I have come across. If you notice, it's a small point for my judgment. Similar question, 6 lines versus 5 lines. Both topics I like, but here I'm doing, there I'm not doing. So please be careful, guys. You have to be self-aware. Your decision should be done in a jiffy. That's the confidence you should have on your topics. Okay. Next, again, a very small question. Length is in my favor. And again, look at it. 3 distinct positive integral roots. So you're talking about roots of a cubic equation. It comes under polynomials. Algebra, one of my favorites. I know the concept. I will go ahead and solve it. So every decision for a question should be done in the first 10 seconds. In 10 seconds, you should decide. You should not spend more than 10 seconds, which means your brain should be tuned to automate. The moment you see the questions, first, length, second, topic, third, did you come across a type of question or not? 4, MCQs or not. So it should automatically, so first thing, topic, tick, type of question, cross, it's a MCQ, it's a theta. Then familiarity, tick, I know this type of questions. three distinct roots, so I have to use some of the roots, product of the roots, and some of the roots taken two at a time. So I've come across these type of questions. And length, also in my favorite. So three favorites, one cross mark, I will go and attempt. This is 10 seconds of your time. Get used to it. Okay. So once again, you have this. It's a combination. Basically, it's a PNC. Very typical PNC. I have how many words can be formed using all the alphabets present in the word combination such that no two vowels. Again, familiarity, tick, topic. I love the topic. Type of question. I love the type of question. Length. All four in my favorite. I'll go ahead and attempt this. Okay. So I'll not repeat this again and again. I think you understood the basic idea. 4 points that I'm checking in my quant. If all these four are anyway tick marks, I'll attempt it. Depending upon which of them are crosses, which of them are tick, I'll have to make a judgment call then and there. Clear, my friends? So that brings us to the end of this. Yes, I'm not getting into the topics. Okay, if I come across this, the moment I see this, so I've come from 7 to 8. The moment I see geometry, this itself is cross, gone. There's no, I'll not bother about the others. For me, geometry is a no-no. Geometry is a no-no. Unless the paper has been good and I'm in a good mood that day. Yeah, I'm a moody person once in a while. But normally my thumb rule for quant is come back to geometry at the end. Don't waste your time on it at the beginning round. Stick to these basic thumb rules. Okay, don't say what if it is easy. It will only be easy if you're good at it, boss. If you are anyway weak in it, easy question also will become moderate for you. So it is not going to be easy for you. Don't worry. Many students ask, sir, what if it is an easy question? It is easy because somebody who's smart is explaining that thing to you. If you do it on your own, it will not be easy. So you're not missing out on an easy question. Okay? Right, so that's basically how I would go about attempting the quant. Length, topic, theta or MCQ, and what is the fourth? Length, topic, familiarity. Again, if you look at this, Jack and Jill beating, again, this is time and distance, tick for me. Length, cross, too long. Familiarity, yeah, I've come across this, but not exactly the type of question. So the familiarity that I saw with time and work, it's not here. So I'll put a question mark, not really sure. Okay, and then big problem, it's theta, cross. So probably not the question to be attempted in the first round for me. I'll leave it to the second round. So if you do this in the first 25 minutes, you will finish your round 1, 100%. Then you will be left with not 15 minutes because you are already spending a little bit more time. So you will be left with probably about 13 minutes. 2 minutes will be gone as 10 seconds in deciding. So 13 minutes, you can pick up questions like this because topic is your favorite. Ideally in this also. Now the question for you is, you have topics where the topic is known, length is higher, and topic is known, length is smaller, but you still left it because you are not familiar with the concept. Please decide which ones you want to go. I personally will always go with topic known, smaller length. I'll spend a little bit more time trying to see what happened. Sometimes when the topic, so this is my personal problem, and this is something which I identified as one of my weaknesses. When there is so much of information given, I tend to miss 1 or 2 small points and I end up getting wrong answers, or I'll never get an answer. That is something, is a flaw in me. So I know my weakness. So that is the reason I'm taking a decision saying that, okay, if I have to go to round 2, obviously I will stick to my topics known. So this is the first criteria. Topic should be known. In that also, I will prefer those topics which are smaller in length compared to those questions which are larger or longer in length. Because longer questions, I make a mess. Shorter questions, usually I solve better. So that's my personal preference. You will have to judge yourself based on your experience and your analysis. And that's how you end up doing your CAT. If you look at this, basically what happened, your English was easy, your quant was exactly same, and your DILR 2 or 1 to 1.5 easy and 2.5 were extremely difficult. That is the reason why this did not contribute to higher or lower marks. This did not contribute too much to higher or lower mark, but because of your DI, your toppers ended up getting lesser marks. Because the toppers who could have scored higher in DI could not, because the DI 2 sets were very difficult. Got it, my friends? That brings us to the end of this session. So that's I hope you got an understanding of how an analysis should be done and how an attempt should be done, right? So I hope this session right now has been good and informative. It's not just a waste of your time, I hope. So I will probably take one more last mock is left, if I'm not mistaken. One more open mock. We will be doing a live analysis attempt and also the recorded solutions for that. So please follow us on YouTube, on our app. You'll be getting to know when this mock is happening, and you can go ahead and take this All India mock. All right. Thank you, my friends. Have a wonderful day ahead and happy Dashera.